From pandemic losses in financial and now to over 33 million ringgit.
We held the first underwater concert here with Luna. We have the entire turnkey structure. We design, develop and maintain aquariums.
How do you translate tangible initiatives?
But we also want them to understand what it means by sustainability. Plastics, as an example, why they're found everywhere is because they are a material that is cheap, easy to manufacture, readily available everywhere, and they last forever.
I'm sure everyone will be excited to see more penguins here. Welcome to Clever Stock. My name is Wan Izul Islam and I'm here for a very special corporate interview with, of course, the CEO of Aquawalk Group Bhd, Mr. Daryl Foong. Thank you so much for joining me and well done. Congratulations again for your prospectus launch. So we're going to be finding out a little bit more about what's up for them. Our first question, Aquawalk. They've grown into one of Southeast Asia's leading aquarium brands. Could you maybe share a little bit about the company's journey and overall vision?
Sure, thank you, Juan. Aquaria KLCC has been around for 20 years, and since then we have expanded to other countries, Jakarta and Phuket, and plans to expand throughout the region. It's been a good journey, a long one. I think we started this at a time when people were still not very sold on the idea of sustainability, conservation, and even if you did talk about these things, they were only seen in a very sort of casual, by the way kind of perspective. I think now with more awareness and more maturity in both people and countries, people have realized that sustainability, conservation, these just aren't buzzwords. These are things that have a very real and material impact on our lives. And we're able to show people that we can do a business that is both aligned to sustainable principles and practices, as well as being educational and profitable.
Fantastic. So, Aquawalk Group Bhd, how would you define your company's positioning? Is it more of an educational, or is it more tourism experience branding, or is it more towards entertainment and technology platform?
I guess the easy way to say it would be edutainment. We definitely exist within the tourism sector. We are, in essence, a tourism play, but education still remains at the heart of what we want to do, awareness and sustainability. So I think one of the key things is that we need to differentiate ourselves from going to school and like, oh yeah, kena belajar lagi, or there's, oh, it's just another lesson to be had. So what we try and do is we want to make this interesting, entertaining, fun. We want people to come first, so make education fun, right? And the aquarium provides us with a very easy way to do this. On top of that, we also want to build empathy with the environment, with nature, with the animals. It's very easy to be empathetic about, say, a very cute cat or a puppy, right? Because we associate with these things. But not everybody has that exposure to things like a shark beyond the movie Jaws. Very scary. But in this context, we can provide people with some entertainment, some interest, which hopefully leads to some wonder, some curiosity, and that leads you to conservation and education.
Fantastic. So we've gotten a little bit to know about Aquawalk, especially what you guys offer. So my next few questions will be focused more towards revenue and a little bit of how your company is doing growth-wise. Beyond ticket sales, how is the group expanding other revenue streams, such as retail, licensing, or maybe joint exhibits? Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
So ticketing and retail sales remain one of our largest revenue streams. I don't think that's going to change far too much, but we do develop ancillary revenue streams, and this can be in the form of third-party partnerships. It can be in the form of experiences or activities that we run in the aquarium. Even F&B and concession forms part of these ancillary sales. So I think as we have gone about in our 20 years of operations, we developed a lot of partnerships, we developed a lot of relationships with universities, with other facilities and so on. And occasionally when the need arises, we will do a partnership with them. Sometimes this can be monetary in nature, and other times it's purely just a relationship partnership. But all these items serve to do one or two things. They're either some form of ancillary revenue that adds to the group's profits, or, and for the most part, this happens to be true, more related to enhancing the existing visitorship journey.
Fantastic. Okay, so during your prospectus launch, you did mention a little bit about your group having not only Aquaria KLCC, but you have Aquaria Phuket as well as in Jakarta. So between these three, let's focus a little bit on KLCC and Phuket. They target different visitor segments. How do you strategize, or what are the strategies that differ between these two attractions?
So with both these attractions, I mean, ultimately, the kind of strategies that we approach for all our aquariums will fall along the same lines. We are looking at volume versus revenue charge or yield per person. We're looking at the kind of ancillary revenues that we might have. So, for example, in Phuket, one of the key things that we have is a fine dining experience, right? So there's again, you're in Phuket. It's a holiday destination. So sometimes people look for things outside and beyond just, spend a day at the aquarium. What else can you do at night? So we add these revenue streams on. We also look at things like, for example, how the visitor pattern might be. In Phuket, more international tourists. In KLCC, a more even mix between local and foreign visitors. So that also informs where we target our marketing, whether it's to international audiences or whether it's to hotels in particular, whether we partner with local tour operators or whether we partner with local public transportation. So that's how we sort of look at the mix between segments as well.
Very good strategies indeed to differ between the two places. Okay, so moving over to your profit. From pandemic losses in financial year 2021 and now to over 33 million ringgit in profit for financial year 2023, that was the last updated. What drove this strong recovery? What was the key factors?
So for starters, the management team was very prepared for the reopening of our aquariums. I also feel that we had good support from our governments and from our landlords and other partners. And I also believe that the appeal of our business is quite evergreen. So people were very, very excited to have an opening, to be able to go out again and to experience something different from just the same four walls in their home. During the pandemic, we actually undertook a lot of activities over internet and so on, although it never really replaced the actual experience of coming to the aquarium. Some of the things that we did, for example, we held the first underwater concert here with Yuna over the pandemic. That was very, very interesting, very exciting, generated a lot of interest and views. So I think these kept the interest alive and contributed to the very rapid recovery that we had.
Fantastic, really a unique strategy there, having an underwater concert. Okay, when we talk about costs, operating aquariums, it really involves high fixed costs,
That's correct.
So how does Aquawalk maintain strong profitability and balance it out with healthy cash flow?
So I think the biggest, when we talk about operations, right, of course, the biggest concern for us would always be the welfare of the animals. Right, so this involves water costs, so utilities, water, electricity, feed, the kind of materials that we might need, the kind of medicines that we might need to make sure that the water quality is stable and of very, very good quality for the animals. This is mitigated in part by our own design teams. So as I mentioned before, we have the entire turnkey structure. We design, develop, and maintain aquariums. We have a life support system team in place. So what we do is we actually do efficiencies of processes. We save on energy, we save on the design work, we save on the kind of replenishments that we might need for the water and so on. And I think this all, in small degrees, help towards our cash flow, help towards our profit margins as well.
Fantastic. Hope you guys continue that. Okay, now we're going to be talking about that big book in front of you right there, that prospectus, all right? At an IPO price of 31 cents per share.
Yes.
Now, Aquawalk's market cap will stand at about 571. That's over half a billion.
That's correct.
Yep, that's it. How has your investors' response been so far? You had a briefing with them earlier, some analysts. What's their feeling? What's the outtake? right now?
So what I took away from what I felt from the energy of the room, the questions that we were getting. I would say that the aquarium business resonated with a lot of them. I mean, we are a consumer business to a degree, so a lot of people have either been to an aquarium at some point or are interested in animals or have brought their children to the aquarium. So I would say there was at least that familiarity with the business that we do. The simplicity of our business as well, I think in terms of how we generate our revenue, resonates quite easily as well. It's not complicated, it's not difficult, it's not dependent on very, very arcane or archaic structures. And I guess there was a lot of interest as well because as a topic, the running of an aquarium is not something that everybody comes across daily. So I think there was a lot of interest in that regard. On the more financial side, I suppose the healthy profits and the strong growth that we've had over the last, not just 20 years, but even the last 3 years, as you mentioned, from the recovery of the pandemic, is, I would say, remarkable. So I think that translated through in the energy and the kind of questions and enthusiasm that we were getting from our investors.
Fantastic. That's good news to hear. So most of the IPO proceeds will mainly go towards upgrading and developing new attractions. Okay,
Correct.
so maybe you can share to us a little bit about which projects or locations are your top priorities, or what's in the pipeline.
So again, what's already presented in our prospectus, while we do have a lot of ongoing exploratory projects, the main ones that we'll be focusing on would be our aquarium in Surabaya, the future upcoming aquarium in Surabaya, as well as our future upcoming aquarium in Kota Kinabalu. Those, of course, will remain the major project focuses for us. Internally, for our existing aquariums, we will be looking at a new penguin tank in Aquaria KLCC. That will be happening in the mid of next year, as well as a seal tank and an aviary in Phuket.
Oh, fantastic. I'm sure everyone will be excited to see more penguins here.
We hope so.
Okay, part of the funds also will be used for IT and digital upgrades. So what kind of guest experience improvements can visitors expect next year maybe?
So we're looking at a few quality of life improvements, not just to our back of house systems, our back end systems, POS systems. We are also looking at customer improvements. So some examples of this would include a better queue management system. So as you would expect from a very popular attraction, there are times when the queue does get a bit long, and we want to try and reduce the wait time for our guests as much as possible, or at the very least allow them the flexibility to do other things while waiting. So one of the things that we intend to implement is QMS, a queue management system, where customers can take a queue number or do an advanced booking slot with us and then go for a walk. We exist in very, very strategic locations. Typically, we're within malls or other already very creature comfort focused areas. So we hope to be able to allow our potential guests to take a stroll, maybe have a quick bite before being alerted that, okay, it's your time to come to the aquarium, and then it'll be an easy, smooth entry and journey for them. We're looking at things like an online website where people can book experiences, can place ticket orders, or can book their times to come in with us. We are exploring the possibility of doing a app for our frequent visitors and customers, both to provide informational knowledge, catered experiences, as well as digital experiences.
Fantastic. Okay, so this is more towards your group as a whole. Attractions like Aquaria KLCC, Aquaria Phuket, as well as the Jakarta Aquarium and Safari. How do you guys balance between tourism, education, and conservation?
I would say that they all are quite intertwined with what we do. It's a very virtuous cycle. If you do something that's interesting and unique and fun, which is of course the main component that we want to have in place before we go towards the educational aspect. I mean, that's how we lead to it, right? If you have those in place, then by nature you will start attracting tourism. You will start attracting this kind of interest. And as part of our education that we want to do, we want people to understand why they need to conserve the environment. We want them to explore the interrelatedness, the interconnectivity of everything that we're doing here. The seas that we share with everybody globally. So whether you're a tourist from the northern hemisphere, or whether you're a student from one of our local schools, there is a shared connection that can be found. So within these three areas, education, conservation, and tourism, we feel it's very integrated and interrelated. Do one well, and it naturally leads to you doing another well.
So following up on that, we're focusing a little bit on your mission, which is inspire collective action for sustainable conservation. So how do you translate that into tangible initiatives for the group?
a lot of times what we try and do is we want to make sure that not only do people understand the interconnectivity of our seas that we share and the ocean that we share, but we also want them to understand what it means by sustainability. So as an example, a lot of times we get a lot of queries, why aren't you doing Say No to Plastics campaign? Or why aren't you focusing on no straws and so on? For us, that's maybe a little bit short-sighted because we recognize that sustainability does not mean abstinence, for example. A great deal of the population still rely on the oceans for sustenance and survivability. Plastics, as an example, the reason why they're so ubiquitous, why they're found everywhere, is because they are a material that is cheap, easy to manufacture, readily available everywhere, and they last forever. So it might come off as a little bit high-handed to go around telling people who have trouble feeding their families to, hey, stop using plastics, use something a lot more expensive or complicated, right? So we're trying to educate people that it's about sustainability, right? It's about trying to find a solution that best fits all, something that recognizes and takes into account the population that survives off the oceans. And I think you can see this translated through some of the campaigns that we have, like our coral conservation campaigns, or some of our ads, like for example, One Merdeka, we did an ad focusing on fishermen, communities, to try and give people that broader picture.
Okay, so finally, I just want to ask, with regards to your upcoming listing on Bursa Malaysia and what it represents for Aquawalk and the group, how should investors view its long-term growth story? What message do you have for investors with regards to your upcoming listing?
Well, we've been around for 20 years. We expect to be around for far longer than that. Our profitability has been demonstrated. It does mean that this is a business that resonates not just with consumers, but also with a business community. We are able to demonstrate that this is something that is both ESG compliant as well as conservation minded, and it's not a greenwash. It's genuine. Our profitability, we expect this to maintain and continue based on our history and based on our experiences. And we hope that investors will see this as an opportunity to demonstrate that it is extremely possible to be both profitable and do good.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Daryl Foong, the CEO of Aquawalk Group Bhd, for this special corporate feature interview. And we hope to see you at the listing coming up soon. And just remember, balloting and applications for this IPO listing is up till November 7th. And we'll see you on November 19th for the Ace Market listing. Thank you very much. My name is Wanizul Islam, reporting right here from Aquaria KLCC in Kuala Lumpur.
Scan now and download Cleverstock, your trusted source for market insights.